Hello everyone, in this video I'm reacting to He secretly changed this freeway sign, helped millions of drivers. Original videos linked in the description. Let's see.
In any downtown area, you're likely to find evidence of
Yes.
street artists making their mark. Some call it vandalism, some find it beautiful,
Yeah.
but how often can you call it useful?
Yeah.
In 2001, a local
see.
LA artist, after 2 years of planning and prep, snuck onto
Yeah.
a large overhead
Oh, wow.
signage structure over a busy freeway in
Yes.
broad daylight and added his art to the sign. This
see.
one act of vandalism was so subtle, so detailed, and so useful, it stayed in place for 8 years.
Wow.
Let me tell you the story about the man
Nice.
who did what Caltrans couldn't, the
Yeah.
guerrilla public servant Richard Ankrum.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you've all heard stories about how bad LA traffic is.
Yeah.
Or at least you've heard Californians complain about how
Yeah.
bad LA traffic is. And while that's partly caused by overcrowding, a lack of public transport, and Angelinos not knowing how to drive, a lot of it comes from when those freeways were
Yeah.
originally constructed.
Oh wow.
California's interstates were built and maintained by the California Department of Transportation, or
Okay.
Caltrans, and 110 was one of their first projects.
Yeah.
Actually, it's in California, so the 110.
Oh yeah.
The 110 was first opened in 1940 as the Arroyo Seco Parkway.
Yeah.
It wound from Pasadena to San Pedro, cutting through
Yeah.
the heart of downtown LA.
Uh-huh.
At the time, it was hailed as a shining example of a modern freeway.
Nice.
But fast forward about 60 years, and the story changes a bit. Caltrans realized freeways needed certain things, like shoulders, for example.
Yes.
The Arroyo Seco Parkway was designed to be, well, a parkway. It was
Yeah.
built for 40-mile-an-hour road speeds, which is what
Yes.
most vehicles were doing at the time. It had near 90-degree off-ramps and microscopic on-ramps with stop signs in certain areas. And because it was built
Outside
right
for
along
highway,
the
that's
Arroyo
crazy.
Seco River, it couldn't be widened as the city grew.
Oh.
Luckily, the 110 is not the only way into Los Angeles. The 5, the 101, the 10 all funnel commuters into the downtown area.
That's
But
good.
because the 110 was their first, it sits in the prime spot. This
Oh,
means it
definitely.
had to have on-ramps and off-ramps for each of these freeways added throughout the years in the space of about 4 miles. I think the worst thing about this is that there's no way to unfuck the downtown merges. This is just set in stone. Nowadays, freeway signage is almost superfluous. GPS apps, built-in navigation, and the trust we put in strangers from Uber have made them little more than a relic of the past.
Yeah.
But in the Y2K era, people relied on road signs and needed them to be accurate. So you
Yes.
can imagine how frustrated you'd be if you were road tripping to Six Flags, 4 kids in the back of your Ford Expedition, Pokemon
Yes.
soundtrack blaring, driving down the 110, looking for
Yeah.
which lane you needed to be in to get on the I-5 North, and the
Yes.
sign just wasn't there.
Oh, wow.
The overhead sign, or gantry, at mile marker 231 had lanes marked for the 101, the 5 South, and staying on the 110, but
Yeah.
it made no mention of the tiny 2-lane exit on the far left side that would put you onto California's largest freeway in less than 2 miles.
Wow.
Here we are in the tunnels of the 110, just north of downtown.
Yes.
We are about to come up to the 5 North exit.
Oh, wow.
It is a very, very tight
Interesting.
left-hand exit that just comes
Tunnels
up
are
very
cool.
abruptly at the end of
you have to be
this tunnel right
focused
here.
and
If
patient
you
when
are
you're
not
going for
prepared for it,
Yes.
there it goes.
And then you miss it.
Missed it.
Yeah.
Every day, people were missing their exit, or worse, cutting across faster lanes of traffic to make it at the very last minute.
Oh, wow.
It's unclear if anyone was actually complaining to Caltrans about this and being ignored,
Yeah.
or if it was just one of those, everyday annoyances that people felt they had to live with.
Yeah.
But one man wasn't going to let it stand any longer.
Yeah.
He became the hero we needed and took matters into his own hands. Richard Ankrum is a contemporary artist and sign painter who was
Yes.
living south of Los Angeles in Orange County back in 2001. After
see.
falling prey to the freeway sign's misleading layout one morning, he began to notice just how many people did as well.
Yes.
Luckily, Ankrum had the skills, the stubbornness, and the free time to do
Yes.
something about it.
Yeah.
At first, it was just a funny little idea that he talked about with friends,
I see.
getting up on that gantry and fixing the sign. But eventually, Ankrum went into full planning mode.
Yes.
And that plan wasn't just to get up there with a few cans of spray paint and graffiti on a fix.
Yes.
Ankrum was a sign maker by trade, so the level of detail he went into was unlike anything
Yes.
else. Ankrum visited other overpasses with a measuring tape to get accurate sizing.
I
He
see.
took color swatches to other signs in order to match the Caltrans standard
Yeah.
perfectly. As a skilled sign painter, Ankrum even hand-painted the exact Caltrans standard font onto his masterpiece.
Wow.
He even sourced reflectors from the same distributor that Caltrans used.
Uh-huh.
After 3 months of work, Ankrum had a sign that matched the existing gantry signs perfectly.
Awesome.
And he even added some patina to help match the surrounding paint.
Great.
But now came the tricky part.
Yeah.
Actually getting the sign up there.
Yeah.
Just like the making of the sign, Ankrum was meticulous in his approach to actually installing it.
Yes.
He got a high-vis vest and a hard hat from a DIY store, and even
Yes.
put a fake contracting business logo on the side of his truck just to make sure no one was suspicious.
I see.
And honestly, why would they be? Everything he did seemed to be the protocol as far as freeway goers were concerned.
Yes.
Ankrum used the guardrails on the gantry and even had a guide to properly align the signs to perfect spec. It all
see.
looked pretty legit. And in case I didn't mention, the reason why
Yeah.
we know the process looks so convincing is that Ankrum and his team filmed the whole thing. They
yeah.
not only documented the process of making the sign, but they had
Yeah.
cameras stationed all around it while it was being installed.
Awesome.
Ankrum eventually released all this footage as a 10-minute documentary, and it is worth a watch. It's a
Yes.
little scary, and I don't really know why, but if you like your documentaries with a little bit of a David Lynch vibe, you
Yeah.
should check it out.
I
Okay.
have taken it upon myself to manufacture and install these missing guide signs.
I see.
And if you're thinking, why would someone put all that effort into something so trivial? Didn't this guy have bigger things to worry
Yeah.
about? Not really. This was the peak of post-Cold War, pre-9/11 America, arguably the most stable period in U.S. history.
Yeah.
World as it was at the end of the 20th century.
And it was also a time when Americans were a lot less concerned
Yes.
with security. The installed sign was so convincing that for 8 months, no one even knew there was anything different about it. Drivers saw it as a much needed, much welcomed improvement,
Yes.
and Caltrans didn't seem to be reacting at all.
Yes.
Ankrum had completely gotten away with it. On one side, that's the mark of a perfectly executed plan.
Yes.
But like any mastermind, Ankrum wanted to get caught just a little bit. In
Yes.
2002, Ankrum leaked the story to a local newspaper, and once they broke the story, the media circus began.
So was it your idea to create and deploy a sign of your own?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you told your mom about this. What'd she think?
She thought I was out of my mind.
Of course, reporters wanted to hear from Ankrum about his motives and mindset, but they
Yeah.
also wanted to hear from Caltrans about how they felt about a private citizen doing their job for them.
We feel he had a good idea.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're planning to institute it.
Mr. Ankrom's activity was very well executed, very well thought out. However, there is a safety issue concerned, and it's very important that such work be done under the guidance or by our maintenance
Yeah.
forces.
Eventually, Caltrans did replace the original sign with the new one that you can see behind me. But
Yeah.
do you know how long it took them? 8 years.
Wow.
Now, whether that's because Ankrum's work was just that good or Caltrans is just that inefficient, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
But as you can see, they did keep Ankrum's edition in pretty much the exact same spot.
Nice.
Ankrum didn't leave it at
That's
that,
actually
though.
awesome.
His mini documentary, Guerrilla Public Service, went to over a dozen film festivals over the next 4 years. And according to him, there are other similarly helpful works of his out there that he's kept quiet.
Yes.
The statute of limitations is a real thing. Listen, we've all looked around at our surroundings and seen things that need fixing, but
Yes.
rarely do any of us actually do anything about them. Now, I'm not
That's it.
saying you should climb up onto your nearest street sign. In
Yes.
fact, I'm saying you shouldn't do that because
Yeah.
it's illegal, but it is certainly worth acknowledging and appreciating the work
Yes.
of a vigilante roadwork specialist like Richard Ankrum.
Yes.
That's it for me this time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in 2
You're
weeks.
welcome.
Let's go before we get
I see.
a ticket.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're enjoying watching this video, then subscribe to me, share, and turn on post notifications. Everyone, have a great day. Bye.